YouTube, configuring. Jake Roy.
Mr. Leroyski's.
Jake Roy. Yeah, just live. I was just letting things, letting some people trickle in there. We are live on a couple of our platforms here. We've got a pretty good agenda set up here for the Roy Garage going live today. This is one of our first lives. We want to do these just to update you guys, connect more with our community, and just get more involved. We've got an agenda here. I'll flip to. Do you have anything you want to say, Jake? Just like, should we introduce ourselves a little bit here?
Well, I suppose we could, because most people probably think we're the same person.
Yeah, you're right. Emily sent me a TikTok where it was there's a sound where it says I'm this person, and then it says I'm this person, not the same person.
So I'm Jake. I'm Lee's twin.
I'm Lee. I'm Jake's twin. And we like wrenching.
Easy enough right there. I would say historically, Leroy's project is the Mino Camino, and I have the Dodgeball. So generally speaking, if you see content on the Mino Camino, high likelihood it's Lee. If you see the Dodgeball, high likelihood it's me.
Yes. But sometimes we do get a little bit frustrated. Everybody knows sometimes there's the four-letter language when it comes to working on cars and trucks sometimes. So sometimes we do tag each other in, tag each other out.
Oh, no doubt.
I do want to just kind of throw in there why we wrench. I guess the reason on why we wrench really is just inspired by our grandpa, who he built a couple cars that he passed down. One of them we did trade for a couple of El Caminos, but ultimately got it back. It was a 49 Ford car, ocean metallic blue. My grandpa lowered it, put a flathead V8 in it. Anything you want to add to that there, Jake Roy?
Yeah, I would say to add to that, I really just love the challenge, especially with a project like a chassis swap, or when you're dealing with something that's old that you're trying to update. I love the challenge of how do we get this to work, how do we get this to be more comfortable, and then coming up with a strategy on how to attack that. The feeling of accomplishment after you get something done, that's awesome.
Yeah, I would say for me, I love just having a good time with you, Jake. Like whenever it's you and I in the garage, you everybody's got to have that one buddy where they're out in the garage and they're having a good time. If you're watching this stream, share this stream with that buddy you wrench with, because that to me it's just hanging out, cracking a cold one, whether it's an NA or not, and just having a good time in the garage.
Or whenever you pull, or whenever we pull a Papa Bear into it.
Oh, what?
Papa Bear? Good old Greg Roy?
Oh. How you mean?
Well, you have a good time with me, and it's magnified when you add in.
Oh yeah,
when you add dad into it,
you add a dad in there. It's
it's like times 10. It's not like doubles times 10.
Yeah. Anyways, let's reel things in here, Jake Roy. Let's go to the first thing we've got on our agenda here: why we're here, and then we've got what we're working on. We're working on something a little bit for some viewers to try to get people more involved in wrenching. Then project updates. Jake's going to give us an update on the Dodgeball, which you see behind him there. And then we've got our favorite comments of the week. I've got a couple. Jake's got one. And then how you can support our mission, which we'll cover as well. We did touch on a little bit on why we're here doing this live stream. Life's short. You got to spend time doing what you love. And for us, that's wrenching, spending quality time together. And with that, we've come to our mission statement of inspiring 1 million people to start wrenching again. How do we do that? We show up every day. We try to post funny content every day and then post updates on our projects, no matter if that movement on that project is really big or really small. John Holt Music, thank you for the comment. Yep, Greg Roy, we got to get him involved. This is our first live. We're going to get him involved here. 'Cause we should be able to get him moved in here too, and in this as well. So, but the big thing about the Roy Garage is no project is too small. We post everything we do, and since we do that, it takes a long time.
Yeah.
And since it takes a long time, we do get a little flack for like, you guys got to finish that project already. It's like, we know that. But when you film something, Jake, how long does it usually take on average? Longer?
Well, I mean, however long it takes you to film, if you film for, say, like a day and get a couple hours of footage, it takes you probably 4 or 5 times that to actually cut it down and make a video. And that's not even including all of the research that goes into getting the parts and actually figuring out how to do something, especially if you haven't done it before.
Yep, exactly. Which a lot of stuff, I'm proud to admit that, a lot of this stuff we're doing for the first time. And we get some flack for that, but hey, that's what life's about. It's like sometimes you don't know everything when you come out of the womb, like some of these people in the comment section. But yeah, that's a little bit about why we're here doing this live. Just another creative way to just kind of try to share our personality and get a little bit closer to our community. So let's dive a little bit into a little something we're working on to try to keep track of our mission and improve upon our mission. Jake, you got a little bit you want to add here?
On the why we're here?
Oh yeah. No, I'm sorry. What we're working on? I'm sorry. I forgot. You can't see my agenda here that I got going on.
Well, I can, but I guess not because I'm watching the stream. Oh, there, it just updated, so now I can see it.
Okay, gotcha. So project planner.
Yeah, the project planner. So essentially, we're trying to figure out a product that we can kind of promote to help other people make more progress on their vehicle. And really the focus is, how do we have like a project planner or a notebook that really helps you stay focused on what's important? And really what it comes down to, in my mind, is we got to get our vehicles out of the garage. We got to get them on the road because if they're running and we're driving around, we're having a good time. So this planner is going to be mainly focused on kind of that progression of getting it on the road, getting it street legal, and then making improvements. Because again, if you can get your vehicle out of the garage, there's a higher likelihood if you're driving that thing around, having fun, or just listening to it run in the garage, that you're going to feel that motivation to just keep making that progress.
Exactly. And one of our big motivators to create something like this was we ask our community questions pretty much weekly, sometimes daily, and we ask what the biggest holdup for our community on what's holding you up with your project. And it really come down to 2 things: time and money. And that's what we want to try to really drive in this planner, is to help look for those projects and find those projects where you're going to have the time and the money required to get that project, like Jake said, driving, street legal, and making those improvements. Hearing it run, that's the dream. LOL.
Heck yeah.
For sure, 100%. Mike Doubles.
I was scrolling through TikTok today, or one of the social media platforms, and somebody had something that had an engine there. It must have been a big block because they started that thing up, and that rumble, I'm just like, it gave me chills, and I was like, man, I had to get out to that garage and make some progress. And that's really what we're trying to do with the Roy Garage, is create that type of content that you see where you're like, oh man, I got to make some progress on my project.
Yep, exactly.
And sometimes it's not that big of progress. Sometimes it's what can I do now that doesn't cost me that much money, but I'm taking a step forward.
Exactly. We got Random Green TV in here, Jake. It sounds like your mic's doubled. we will have to look into that here off the stream and look back at the re-recording. We are twins, so sometimes we both say the same thing. Happens more often than you think. But we will definitely, Random Green TV will definitely look into that and try to get that resolved for our next live.
Does it help now? I kind of moved. I had my phone kind of close to my laptop, so maybe that had something to do with it.
Random Green TV, let us know if it sounds a little bit better now. Next here, we are going to give you a little update on the dodgeball project. I got some pictures up here of the cab, and then Jace got the chassis and the cab in his garage, and then obviously in his video stream he's got it in his background. Jake, you just want to give us a little quick synopsis of kind of how this project came to fruition?
Yeah, so for the longest time, I knew I wanted a 4x4 truck, hot rod. And me and this guy over here would spend summers, winters out in the pasture at my grandparents' inside this truck. So this truck sat in my grandparents' pasture for decades. And me and Lee had some projects that we were messing around with. But I knew I wanted a 3/4 ton chassis to put this on to do a cab swap. And I just happened to be talking with a buddy who happened to snag a couple Dodge pickup trucks from a auction. So he gave me a heck of a deal on a Dodge chassis. I've also always wanted to work on LS engines, so I snagged an LS engine. And with that LS engine, before I actually had the chassis and the cab, I went ahead and snagged a 4L80E with a transfer case off Facebook Marketplace for really cheap. That was before I got the chassis and everything, because I was just kind of like starting to get momentum towards my project. That it had an electronically controlled transfer case. Ended up selling that on Facebook Marketplace, and then bought a mechanically controlled one from Nordstrom's, just down the road here. And then ended up getting the chassis, great deal on the chassis. Me and Lee spent a couple weekends up at my grandparents' getting this off, and then down here to where I live. And then, I've got the drivetrain mounted. So it's a Chevy drivetrain with a 5.3 Vortec engine, 4L80E, NVNP 240 transfer case. You might need to fact check me on that one. I got it right behind me, but at any rate, we ended up with two 5.3 Vortec engines. So one sitting in there right now. That's just kind of like a fitment motor, and then we have another one right here. It's got a beautiful looking turbo on there. We took it apart to do a little inspecting. Everything looked pretty good. We did do a good old dingleberry hone to it. Questionable. It might be questionable, but hey, you got to start somewhere. The valves were leaking quite a bit as well, so we cleaned those up as best we could with probably a redneck valve job. But once again, you got to start somewhere, and you learn as you go. And we're going to learn how we did once this engine gets running. What else do I got, Leroy?
I was just doing some troubleshooting. Jake, you're a little loud. That's what's causing the clipping and stuff, I think. John is.
It's hard for me not to yell at the screen.
Okay. Yep. So John said my mic's perfect, but he said with yours being loud, John is a music producer, so he's a very audio tech savvy individual. So
Lee, can you adjust my audio down on yours?
I can adjust it. Oh my gosh, sorry.
Because I don't have any audio settings on my side.
Yeah, we're learning on the fly here. I've got Jake set up all the way. All right. John, what do you think? Minus 10 dBs? Minus 10 dBs. We'll see how that goes, and we'll go from there. Jake, I'm going to move on to our next slide here. You did touch on a little bit of what we've been working on now. But if you follow us on our social media, you will have seen this puppy start up. and we haven't posted a lot of content. Jake is you're perfectly. We haven't posted a lot of it running, and the main reason why we haven't posted a lot of the footage of this engine running was because I can't see. A person stopped at a supernova? Oh, sorry. I think he must have been. Mainly because we were trying to get it started and we thought it was the computer system. We were kind of beating our heads up against the wall, going through the directions over and over and over again. And then I saw a video from another big social media individual. I can't remember his name. I can't remember it. But he said, you pour some, and then Jake also had a coworker that suggested this, so we kind of got it coming at us from both ways. Put some starter fluid on the intake to see if it starts up. So we decided to do that, and we did that, and it fired right up. So it was not the computer system, and it was not the ignition system like we thought it was. It's just bad fuel. So
we believe it's bad fuel.
We believe it's bad fuel. The fuel pump.
High likelihood it is bad fuel. We did put in some high octane fuel into the tank, but I think there's enough gunk in there from sitting for a couple of years to cause it not to run.
Yes. I'm going to turn you down just a little bit more.
Try not to get super stoked and yell at the computer like I was.
Don't worry, I got you turned down. I'm going another 17 dBs. But yeah, we're hoping to have a lot more content with that engine running here. We did order a fuel pump. The fuel pump is built to order, so it doesn't ship out till probably next week or the week after, the 27th. The 27th. So
27th. Yeah.
Yep. So we're waiting on that. While we're waiting on that, we're doing some more of this live streaming, getting some other content rolling. We have thrown on the idea of finishing my garage, but my November looks super busy, and we're still cleaning up the flower farm. So I don't know if I'll have enough time for that here. Jake's shaking his head. Jake, see you come over, man.
Come over to my garage and help me out.
Yeah, you're right. I think we'll just stay focused on the dodgeball here this winter. But the next thing we've got on the agenda here, we're at 17 minutes. We've got our favorite comments of the last week. Now, mine's a little bit older than a week because I took this screenshot and it's taken us a little while to get this put together, this live stream here. But pulling my screenshots up here. Jake, I got mine pulled up. Are you ready with yours?
Are you
I can do mine. Or? I can do mine here. Let's see. Let me just check here. All right. We got Wayne Scott. This is one of my favorite comments right here. If you don't know how to do that, maybe it might be a good idea to go back to playing with the toy cars in the sand pit. Those are my favorite because it's like, man, I'm sorry I didn't come out of the womb knowing everything, but not knowing everything, I'm still going to go out there and we're still going to do the wrenching. So
yeah.
I pride us on our ability to throw out there, Jake, the stuff that we work on, because it's not glamorous. It's not perfect. Most of the time we're doing it our first time. But really that's just us living our mission of just inspiring other people to be vulnerable and start wrenching again. So I love those comments just because it just reminds me of our mission and what we're trying to accomplish.
Totally. I think if you're not fazed by those comments, it means you're working on something or doing something you're really passionate about. So honestly, for us, knowing that we're not fazed by it because it's not going to stop us from moving forward, it's almost reinforcing that it's like, all right, we're doing what we're meant to be doing.
Exactly. Jake Roy, you got your comment here? Go a little back and forth, a little ping pong.
All right, I thought this one was kind of funny. Hopefully, maybe I'd already told you about it, Leroy, but I'll paraphrase a little bit because of the language.
Okay.
Dang, I must be getting old. I dig the Camino shorts, and I've been subbed to your channel for quite a while. but I just realized you're the same guy fixing up that angry looking BA truck.
Same guy, huh?
Yeah.
We're the same guy.
That's
That's too funny.
that's from Monk Fry.
That's funny.
MONFRY on YouTube. I thought it was pretty funny. I had to comment back, not throwing a curveball, but there are two of us.
Yeah, we are not the same guy.
Yep.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. There's a band. It's called Our Last Night. No, I can't remember. It might be them, but yeah, they get that same thing, but they're not twins like we are. So we'll probably get a lot more. All right, my last comment here. This was super funny. This was again asking about that. What's your biggest hang up on your project? And Bill Harris says waiting 2 months short of 5 years to get out of paint. Now waiting for motivation. And I said, yikes, that is way too long. And then he said, yes, it is. That's why I call it paint prison. So I replied back and said, paint prison. Let's see. I'm glad I know about it now, so hopefully I don't end up there. So that was just something. I thought it was funny because it was just I could learn a little bit about the project holdups, and then paint prison. Like you just don't want to end up in paint prison. So know who's doing your paint, know how fast they'll get it turned around, and I don't know. I guess don't give it to them until they can do it. I don't know. I really don't know how to get around that. I don't know, Jake. Maybe we have to do a series on do-it-yourself bodywork, Bondo.
Oh,
paint. Yeah. Yeah. No. Okay.
See, I'd rather be driving it around. I guess I don't know. I mean that to me is the last thing you work on. That's the last thing you work on. So unless you're like, all right, this is awesome. This is right where I want you to be. The last thing I want to do is make this thing look great. Is body work and paint. So I feel like it's if you're driving around and you're having fun, plan a time when you can try and get that done, or I don't know.
Or just be ready to be in paint prison.
So it's kind of hard not to actually know what to do, but
yeah. Yep. Just be ready for it. It can happen.
Hey, if you guys have any questions on our projects, the dodgeball or anything, be sure to just comment them. We'd love to get them answered. We're here to connect with you guys, so yeah.
All right, Jake. The next slide I've got is kind of our shop plans. Let's see here. So Jake's got a nice 3-stall garage. I've got an unfinished 2-stall garage.
Yeah, nice. I definitely agree with that. Just leave it in Colpatina. I think that would work on most parts, but there are a few spots on this truck that I would actually fix. But I feel like you could fix those and that would give it even more character. As long as you leave, all these bad spots where it's dented and really bad, and like the moss, you can't replicate that moss. I mean, that's from decades sitting in the pasture. You can't just take that off.
Yep. I agree, man. I like the Mino Camino. I haven't done any body work to that. The only thing I want to do is maybe replace the quarter panels, but don't even paint them. And then there's like patina, just patina over that, so you can still see the sections where it's been replaced. I think that look is pretty cool.
I gotta show this. This is my favorite part right here. Like, I don't know if you guys can see this. It's kind of hard to see. Let's see if I can. Yeah.
Oh. That's holding it on.
Fence wire or something that's like
no way.
On there. Like honestly, there's a high likelihood. Like forget about some stickers. Like there's a high likelihood our grandpa put that on there.
Yeah. You're right. That's crazy. That is crazy. But I'm gonna jump over to the shop plan here. My wife and I moved out of my 3-stall garage. Fully finished with heat into a unfinished 2-stall garage, a little bit deeper than a normal garage. But we've got some land that we're working with. So now we're trying to create a budget for a plan to actually put up a nice shop here. this is what we were kind of looking at here. It's just Menards. We're just getting those Menards estimates here. But about, was that 72 by 40, Jake?
Ooh, yeah, that sounds nice.
Yep, 72 by 40. With the material estimated just under 20 G's. We're a ways out from that yet. We might start a thermometer though, with how much we've got saved up for that build. But there's a lot of extra expenses that are going to be adding up. For example, just like clearing the area we want to put it. We've got a shelter belt with a lot of overgrown trees and stuff. But once we have a really nice place where we can work on something, the opportunities for the Roy Garage to be able to create content and really just kind of put our workbook. Jake makes $20K an hour. Jake, I wish he made $20K an hour.
No kidding.
Random Green TV. Someday we'll make $20K an hour. But no, I think it'd be super fun for us to put like our planner to the test, where we buy a project and we just work through that planner to get it running, and then get it legal to drive, and then any improvements. And the fun part about that is, we work on those projects, we'll make the videos on those projects. We might not be emotionally attached to those projects. Those projects might be turnaround sales for us, for somebody who's just wants a project to start improving things on. And then the shop this size also gives us an opportunity to store some projects, because we do have some projects kind of scattered around the Midwest, stored in some barns too. So we'd be able to get those closer to us and easier to wrench on. Anything you want to add?
I think the challenge is, Lee, if I did make $20K an hour, it'd probably come from you. So
Yeah.
you probably just,
You'd probably,
I
I wouldn't give it to you.
That wash.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to move on to the last slide here. We're at 25 minutes, which I feel is like pretty good time for our first live here. Our mission just to inspire 1 million people start wrenching. One way that we keep track of that is our subscriber count or our follower count wherever you're watching us. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, and then follow us on social media. Share this with friends to really help us get our mission out there and our growth out there, and then consider becoming a paid subscriber. We got a lot of people who watch us day in and day out, like our content, comment on our content. We've gotten some paid subscribers here in the last few weeks, which is super exciting for us, considering we want to eventually do this full time. So consider becoming a paid subscriber. We're working on trying to create some exclusive content for those paid subscribers. And then if you just want to just send a donation, I did add Venmo in there. I haven't had a chance to create a Roy Garage Venmo yet. But we do appreciate everybody hopping on here and watching. And yeah, happy wrenching. Anything else you want to, Jake? Closing here?
I was just thinking, I could just talk about the Dodge the whole night, but I think you did a good summary of it. If somebody asked a question about the Dodge in the comments, I could probably go on for a little while.
I don't have any questions in the comments yet, but I'm sure they'll pop up as this video gets out there for everybody.
Right.
So,
I do,
Jake,
if you made it this far in the stream, exclusive, just to let you guys know what's going on. So we have the engine, we have the fuel pump coming. Fuel pump's coming October 27th. We'll drop the fuel tank, get that all cleaned out, put that in, and then we should be able to get that engine running. After that, it's that firewall, getting that firewall built up so that way we feel comfortable swapping them, because I don't want to do a lot of welding around this newer looking engine. And then really it's drive shafts, connecting the radiator, doing some transmission coolant lines, basically just the essentials, because we already have brakes and we already have steering. So
yeah, exciting. I love it, Jake Roy. Also, next stream we should probably talk about what Roy stands for. Some people, because some people call us Roy, and they think it's Rookie of the Year. But we'll add that. So if you guys want to, hit that subscribe button, follow for our next live where we'll talk about what Roy stands for.
Boom.
Awesome. Thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you next time.